Today, we're at a turning point in automobile history, a turning point where people will embrace a new environmentally friendly car that is a pleasure to drive, a turning point that represents many years and countless hours of work by our team to create a car that redefines the industry. All of us at Toyota believe in a future that will be safer, greener, and easier for everyone. We imagine a world filled with vehicles that would diminish our dependence on oil and reduce harm to the environment. A bold but inspiring goal, and today it is a reality. Our fuel cell vehicle runs on hydrogen that can be made from virtually anything, even garbage. It has a fuel cell that creates enough electricity to power a house for about a week. This is a car that lets you have it all with no compromises. As a test driver, I knew this new fuel cell vehicle had to be truly fun to drive, and believe me, it is. It has a low center of gravity, which gives it very dynamic handling. After surviving millions of miles on the test track and 10 years of testing on public roads in freezing cold and scorching heat, after passing extensive crash tests, and after working with local governments and researchers around the world to help make sure it is easy and convenient to refuel, we're ready to deliver. The name we've given to our new car is Mirai, which in Japanese means future. We believe that behind the wheel of the Mirai, we can go places we have never been, to a world that is better, in a car that is better. For us, this isn't just another car. This is an opportunity to really make a difference. And making a difference is what Toyota is all about. The future has arrived, and it's called Mirai.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mitsuhisa Kato, Executive Vice President of Toyota Motor Corporation. Welcome to the press briefing of Toyota FCV Mirai. What you've just seen was the film in which Akio Toyoda, our president, shared his thoughts about and faith in this new model, Mirai. As mentioned in this video, the name of the FCV we launched today is Mirai. What better word can there be than Mirai for a car that ushers in a new age of mobility, a new age for Toyota? We already announced Mirai's outline in June. In the eve of market launch, we're going to reveal the details today. It gives me a great pleasure and also humbling feeling to make this announcement today. Earlier, we showed you Mirai as it is being driven. It may have been different from what we envision as an environmental car. We don't give up driving pleasure just to make a car environment friendly. I personally had great fun behind the steering wheel of this car, Mirai. It gives you excitement. It gives you exhilaration. Our chief engineer, who was responsible for the development of Mirai, will give you more details later. Toyota began the development of hybrids in the 1960s when global warming and energy issues had not been such hot topics as they are today. Through the development of gas turbine hybrids in the 60s and 70s, we embarked on the development of our first hybrid vehicle, the Prius. in 1993, and the Prius was introduced to the market in 1997 with a tagline, "Just in time for the 21st century."
So hybrid cars are in the all the product line of all the categories, and then the sales volume, thanks to the smooth sale, has reached the cumulative number of 7 million units. And after the emergence of the hybrid vehicle, that the people began to choose the car by looking at the environment performance, which has become established in the lifestyle of the customers, I think. And hybrid technology now is the core technology for the EV and plug-in hybrid vehicle PHV as well as the FCV. And we are proud that Prius represents the major innovation that Toyota realized. And today we'll be announcing this Mirai, which is the opening of the further innovation beyond Prius. And Mirai actually symbolizes two major innovations. First, this is an innovation to solve the global environment and energy problems as mobility means. And the second is innovation to bring the hydrogen-based society introduced by hydrogen energy. And then if the FCV, the hydrogen energy, is widely accepted in the society, it will significantly change the way the society will be. In other words, it is more overreaching innovation than Prius. To contribute to the promotion of the hydrogen-based society, the solution as an automobile company was to develop Mirai. So now, about this first part of innovation, I would like to introduce the Deputy Chief Engineer, Mr. Tanaka, in charge of Mirai development.
Good morning. I am Tanaka, in charge of development. Development for the next 100 years of automobiles was the catchword we, the development team, used in developing vehicles. There are 4 features we focused our efforts on in developing Mirai. Let me describe the vehicle outline along those features. They are: first, compact and high-performance new Toyota FC system, immediately recognizable packaging and fun to drive achieved by motor propulsion, realizing the embodiment of ingenuity, and FCV unique features and systems. First, I will introduce our new FC system. Compact and yet offering very high performance, this FC system showcases the outcome of over 20 years of development work. The fuel cell stack is explained now. It conducts just the reverse of electrolysis of water, that is, the oxygen taken in from the air and the hydrogen supplied from the high-pressure tank generates electricity through a chemical reaction on a single cell. 370 of those cells bundled together make up a stack and generates 14 kilowatts of electricity instantly. Its small size enables its installation under the floor of a sedan. For example, to show its high performance, let's compare it with stationary fuel cell for residential usage, such as NFR. As shown here, Mirai's fuel cell, although small, must generate 160 times more power than residential one. This could be achieved only with manufacturing and design technology and capability that enabled manufacturing of 1.3 millimeter cell. The tank's storage density is at world top level, and 2 tanks are installed on 1 vehicle. We're reducing cost by reviewing materials and production engineering. Furthermore, giving top priority to safety of hydrogen, including that of hydrogen tanks, we have ensured the same level of safety as gasoline and natural gas. For instance, let me show you a film of rear-end collision assessment at 80 kilometers. The top image was taken from above the vehicle and the bottom image from the bottom of the vehicle. Despite substantial damages suffered by the vehicle body, the hydrogen tanks are not even deformed. We have adopted boost technology that we honed in Toyota hybrid system. We reduced the number of cells and the size of the motor. Adoption of an inverter and drive battery with proven record with hybrid by aligning the system voltage, improved reliability, and further reduced cost. Using those systems, it takes only 3 minutes to refuel hydrogen. The cruising range per one refueling is approximately 650 kilometers at JCO8 mode. I'm going to explain packaging, which was realized by downsizing the FC unit. As shown here, FC stack and hydrogen tanks are placed under the floor in this layout. This enabled a low center of gravity and excellent front-to-rear weight distribution to produce a midship feel. 4 adults can sit comfortably with enough room, and the trunk room is big enough to store suitcase of a largest size. Next, let me describe the second feature of FCV, its distinctive packaging and fun to drive. The motor with maximum output of 113 kilowatt produces very high acceleration performance, as you see here, which is especially impressive during passing thanks to its strong 334 Newton-meter torque and high responsiveness. Quietness, which is a benefit motor propulsion offers, is thoroughly enhanced. With no engine sound, FCV itself is quiet, but that makes wind noise and road noise stand out. Windows are made of highly sound-insulating acoustic glass while using soundproof materials effectively. We placed a particular emphasis on aerodynamic performance. Because FCV does not have exhaust pipes, the underfloor is fully covered to realize such a smooth airflow. The body rigidity was another area that we focused on. In addition to body structure, thermoplastic cabin carbon fiber is used for stack frame, contributing to high rigidity and light weight. An addition of a brace around rear suspension further increased rigidity and improved suspension movement, which in turn absorbs road bumps. In this way, ride comfort that can rival high-end sedan was realized. Low center of gravity and superior front-to-rear weight distribution, as well as high rigidity, helped achieve free handling at will, unlike other front-wheel drive vehicles. Because Mirai has all those characteristics, it offers not just superior environmental performance, but also fun to drive.
The third aspect is design. This time, our basic concept is realizing embodiment of ingenuity. In other words, a new value which can be recognized by a glance. So new design was developed. First is this exterior design. So in the unique function of the FC, in other words, the drawing in air and the emitting water is embodied by the shape to visually communicate the new value. The front face design boldly emphasizes the left-right grills that draw in air, and headlights use newly developed ultra-thin LED lights, which realize stylish, advanced exterior design. The side profile of the cabin evokes the flowing shape of the droplet of water. If the unit and the hydrogen tank support the structure, expressed with a powerful, beautiful plane. The roof side rails and the floating foot appear to pop out of the body, serving a role of the characteristic icon of the car. As you can see that 6 body the colors are available, including the main color, pure blue metallic, giving the image of water. Now, the interior design. So from side to the front, that you can see the core space is surrounding that by the roundish thin hard panel, which really wraps it around, so you can immediately tell this new value. And the seat is also wrapped by the pad, and the core is supported, so that in others the good hold riding experience and so on can be really secured. So this is something that we have really emphasized in this design. Interior color consists of 3 different colors. The warm white, which really emphasizes this sense of this advanced technology, and as for the personal use, the blue white is available, and poised blue black is also available. Later, please enjoy looking at those colors which are exhibited in the vehicles in the back of the room. So this car design is really suitable for Mirai. In other words, we wanted to finish with a sense of advanced technology. That has been a major mission, but we didn't want to make it too unusual. So we wanted to create a car which you really want to drive, and then it's something that people admire as the cool drive based upon the hydrogen. So that is something we fully dedicated our efforts. The 4th point is this unique function and performance of the FCV. First is a large capacity power supply system. By connecting the external power supply unit, the maximum power supply of 9 kilowatt is now possible. So during the natural disasters and emergencies, and the Mirai can be used as a power generator for the houses and then shelters, and the large capacity of power can be supplied. So in case of emergency, this is really the assuring function. And there's another unique function. I personally like this one, and I really wanted to introduce this. It's called water release switch. By power generation, water is generated. Automatically, the water is drained. By using this switch, at any favorite timing, you can drain the water, release the water. For example, before you enter the underground parking lot, you can release the water beforehand. It's a quite practical use, we assumed. Maybe initially you can show how the water is released to your friends, and it might be an enjoyable topic for you, and that will be one of our aims as well. How did you like it? Well, we realized the next generation vehicle for the upcoming 100 years, to realize the hydrogen energy, the car, which will be a pioneer, we wanted to realize this concept. We dedicated our entire technology and made our utmost effort to develop. As a result, we have a good environment performance, but it will give you fun to drive. It's so quiet and give you the comfortable riding experience. And I think we realized this car, which will make you feel like staying in the car forever. So by supporting this car, I think we will make a steady step forward to realize the hydrogen-based society, and that is our sincere wish. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Tanaka. Mirai emits only water, no CO2 when driven. It has high driving performance. Mirai can really be called the paragon of environment-friendly car. Actually, we began the development of FCV back in 1992, so even before the development of the Prius. In December 2002, we had limited introduction of SUV type Toyota FCHV in Japan and the United States, and the 2005 model obtained the first type approval here in Japan. After trial and error, we continued the development sincerely and conscientiously, and the total distance driven by FCBs introduced thus far exceeds 2 million kilometers. And the data obtained in the market was fed back to the development efforts, constantly making efforts to enhance the quality. Toyota developed FC systems, the heart of FCV, including FC stack and high-pressure hydrogen tanks that many OEMs outsource. Such efforts and unyielding pursuit of what vehicles can do to make a difference was made out of our dedicated commitment to manufacturing at Toyota. I have described the innovation on the part of vehicles, but as I mentioned at the outset, this revolution is not just about vehicles. It is also about the innovation for hydrogen-based society. The second innovation Mirai represents, based upon the in-house development of those systems, addition of hydrogen to fossil fuel and electricity as energy to support our society enhances a possibility of realizing low-carbon sustainable society, and that's why we have been focused on hydrogen for many years. There are 5 major significance of introducing FCV to the market. Number 1, as diversification of fuel sources proceeds, the hydrogen and electricity are getting more and more important. Secondly, hydrogen offers high potential. It emits no CO2. It is easy to store and transport. Thirdly, FCV is very user-friendly in that its cruising range is long and hydrogen filling time is equivalent to that of gasoline engine vehicles. And number 4, hydrogen-based society building can lead to sustainable low-carbon society. And number 4, intrinsic value for societies not endowed with resources like Japan. Hydrogen can be manufactured from a variety of primary energy sources. It can be manufactured in resource-poor country like Japan. Hydrogen has an impact of transforming the social structure itself. It can foster new industries, create jobs, and it can be expected to even improve Japan's industrial competitiveness. And therefore, Toyota regards hydrogen as promising energy for the future and FCV as ultimate eco car. Given such potential, wider spread use of Mirai, we believe, represents a contribution our car company can make to a social innovation. Now, at this juncture, I would like to invite Mayakawa to explain to you the sales plan here in Japan.
I'm Maekawa. Welcome to this session. So, Mirai, we announced today, we believe is the car we completed to bring innovation to the society. Meanwhile, at present, infrastructure of a hydrogen-based society and FCB sales and promotion system is not yet there. We just are at the start line, frankly speaking. So let me now explain the future outlook as well. First, you may think of hydrogen station. How many stations are there? At present, the installation plan, thanks to the efforts of the central and local governments and infrastructure-related companies, 40 locations are planned mainly in 4 major urban cities areas: Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, and Fukuoka. And the sales channels are the Toyota and Toyopet the stores near the areas hydrogen stations are to be located, and also where we can provide the good after-sales care to the customers. So as to the future, we will gradually expand the sales area as the hydrogen stations are also established. I said customer care and after-sales care. Of course, the Mirai uses the new technology so that to make it sure that the customer feel comfortable and secure to drive the car, we would like to have a foolproof system so that we will set up checkup sites for Mirai, dedicated ones, which will be set up at the dealers to provide unique Mirai checkup system and program. And then the Mirai will deploy the linked telemetric service to enable the stable ride through IT assistance. And then when the customer applies for the T-Connect DCM package, Mirai, the dedicated option navigation system, and then the status information will be provided immediately from the dealers. And then through this the remote monitoring service, in case a trouble occurs, and then the dealers and makers are prepared to deal with that by detecting the problem and dealing with the problem. And the sales launch date is scheduled to be on the December the 15th, 2014. So maker's suggested retail price is 7,236,000 yen, including tax. Vehicle price was set after accelerating the technology development of the fuel cell system to lower the cost. So in the future, that we will further develop this mass production technology for high efficiency so that the satisfactory price level for customers is our aim, and we will continue to endeavor to lower the cost further. So we are expecting 400 units of the estimated sales per 1 year during the startup period. But since this is embodiment of a new technology, that each unit is carefully built with utmost care, therefore the production volume might be limited. So during the initial stage, that the delivery time may be slightly delayed. But in the future, by looking at the sales trend, we would like to increase the sales and production. So I would like to urge you for your kind understanding. Thank you very much for your attention.
As Mayakawa has just explained to you, we are just at the starting point. Today is not the day of completion and perfection. We will continue our efforts with fresh devotion. Mirai contains two innovations Toyota achieved: innovation of mobility and innovation to realize a hydrogen-based society. Many challenges still remain before these two innovations can be perfected at higher levels. Production, sales, and service systems all need to be reinforced for customers to use them with sense of security. Despite those challenges, Toyota has decided to introduce this vehicle and to take a step forward toward making a difference for the future. The name Mirai reflects our faith in the future of vehicles, automobiles, future of planet Earth, and future of our children. Such a future cannot be realized by Toyota's efforts alone. It's going to be a journey we travel together with you. This challenge will be much bigger than Toyota has ever embraced thus far. A journey has just begun. Today's FCV press briefing has given us an opportunity to show Toyota's commitment to successfully complete the journey and to show its challenge spirit. To meet this challenge with your cooperation, we would like to show you a movie. We would like many of you to know more about hydrogen and fantastic potential hydrogen-based society it can offer. With that view in mind, this film and movie was created.
H2, hydrogen. Now, all over the world, use of hydrogen energy is beginning. Hydrogen version gas stations are built in the US, Europe, and in Japan. Why now hydrogen energy is attracting such attention? Reason number one, CO2 emission zero. By binding with oxygen, hydrogen generates power, leaving behind only water. It is called the ultimate eco-energy. It's so clean. The reason number two, its presence is almost infinite. H2 is contained in petroleum, LNG, biomass, and the sludges and many other substances in the world. Further, by electrolysis of water, H2 can be generated. Yes, for the water planet Earth, hydrogen is inexhaustible energy. Reason number three, we can store and transport it. Generally, it is difficult to store and transport electricity over a long distance after power generation. However, if water electrolysis generates hydrogen, it becomes possible. For example, hydrogen produced in summertime can be stored till winter to be used. For example, hydrogen produced in south can be transported and used in the north. In this way, the natural energies which vary by weather and location, such as solar, wind, and hydrogen, and the geothermal power generation, can be utilized more actively and widely.
The spread of a hydrogen-based society means broader use of more sustainable systems. Hydrogen has been said to be an ideal energy to solve challenges facing mankind. Now, at long last, we are at the start line of hydrogen usage as our energy source. In reality, it'll take many more years for an ideal foundation for hydrogen-based society to be developed as an integrated cycle. Yet, Toyota wanted to take the first step because we had decided to take a step forward, small as it may be, rather than just waiting. we move forward toward the future where broader options are available, coexisting with conventional energy sources. The future in which we depend not on a single, but on multiple complementary energy sources. Together, Toyota starts running towards 100 years or 200 years into the future, caring for the environment our children will be living in. Hope, continuing into the future. Toyota. Working together with you, we'll continue to make effort to realize our aspiration reflected in the name Mirai. Thank you very much for your participation today.
皆様にご案内申し上げます。これより質疑応答のお時間とさせていただきますが、準備が整いますまで今しばらくお待ちください。
While we get ready for the questions and answers, please wait for a while. We will now entertain questions and comments, but please wait for a moment while we get ready the stage and set up.
Thank you for waiting. Now we would like to open the floor for questions. First of all, let me introduce the people receiving your questions. Mitsuhisa Kato, Executive Vice President, Masamoto Maekawa, Executive Vice President, and Yoshikazu Tanaka, General Manager for Product Development Group. If you have a question, please raise your hand so that the microphone can be brought to you. And I would appreciate it if you could limit your questions to 2 questions per person, and your cooperation would be very much appreciated. Car Top, Joichi is my name, the automotive magazine. Yesterday, Honda introduced concept car of SUV, and my question is very simple. Yesterday, Honda talked about 5-seater. Toyota's FCV is 4-seater, can take 4 people. And given the size, I think usually the car should be able to accommodate 5 people. Why 4? And secondly, Honda announced its cooperation with Iwatani to introduce the simplified version of hydrogen stations. Does Toyota intend to, or do you have any plans with respect to the development of hydrogen stations? So first, I'd like to respond to your question. Honda announced fuel cell vehicles that can accommodate 5 people, whereas ours accommodate 4 people for passenger FCV. Technologically, considering mass and also price range, which is quite high, we considered the vehicle to be a high-end vehicle, the luxury car, in developing the car. And we could have come up with a 5-passenger vehicle, but considering those characteristics, ours is a 4-passenger car vehicle. I hope Honda would enter the market in reality as early as possible so that we can work together to realize hydrogen-based society. So we are waiting for Honda to launch its actual product to the market. With respect to our approach vis-à-vis hydrogen station or hydrogen infrastructure, Toyota does not intend to enter directly into hydrogen infrastructure business on its own, but if there is any area in which Toyota can cooperate in terms of operating such infrastructure, we are willing to extend whatever cooperation we can. Thank you. Any other question, please?
Oshima of Nippon Keizai Shimbun. I have one first question is that domestically the sales target is about 400 units per year. But what about the overseas plan of sales in the future? For the time being, they were taking into account this the production volume plan. The second question is a mid to long-term plan. How do you promote the expansion of use of this technology innovation will be further promoted in the future so that the vehicle unit price might be lowered? So what's the target price reduction approach in the future? Thank you. I'll respond to this question. As to the sales plan, already in the US and Europe, we have announced this as well. But domestically, 2015 at the end, 400 units per year. That's a Japan target forecast. But in the USA, by the end of 2017, 3,000 units or more. In Europe, for the time being, up around 2016, but 50 to 100 units per year is the European scale of sales forecast. Mirai itself is an innovative technology vehicle. A lot of new technologies are installed. It's a brand new car. So during the startup period, each unit is carefully produced, built one by one with utmost care. And then in the future, we aim at the stable sale and mass production, which will further promote and expand the use of this vehicle. So initial starting period should be steadily prepared and made solid. So that is the initial scale we are thinking about during the startup period. As to the future units of production and sales, of course, it depends upon the development of the infrastructure, like the hydrogen station or energy policy of each country, each market, or the vehicle, the purchase, the subsidy availability, or the environment regulation, and also the customer needs and demand trend. All these are the influential factors for each region or each area. By looking at this development in each region, we would like to have a mid to long-term view to consider all those aspects. So we do not have any specific number, figure in mind. Did I answer you properly?
About your second question, that is to say the pricing aiming at the broader usage over medium and long term. By around 2025, we are aiming at the FCV prices, which is at the level representing the pricing difference between existing hybrid vehicles and conventional gasoline-based cars. This is the same as we announced in June of this year. The person in black suit, please. Asahi Newspaper, Oh Hinata is my name. Thank you for this opportunity. I have one question. Number one, in terms of the outlook of a wider spread usage of this, I do understand it will be difficult for you, manufacturer, to cite any specific figures of how long will it take for FCV to be as widespread as hybrid vehicles we see today. That's the first question. And secondly, you talked about the various aspects representing ultimate eco car. It's friendly for the environment, but in manufacturing hydrogen, the electricity or other energy is used in the process of manufacturing hydrogen. Given that, how are you going to manufacture hydrogen without emitting CO2 in that process. With operating profit of 2 trillion yen, how do you intend to contribute to coming up with the hydrogen manufacturing emitting less CO2? In terms of the outlook or prospect for wider spread use of FCV, in around 2020, we are aiming at tens of thousands of units. That's our objective, and that remains unchanged. For the Prius hybrid vehicle, it took over 10 years to become very popular. Considering that, and gas stations are going to be change over to hydrogen. That is to say, the hydrogen station need to be developed going forward. And because of that, not just vehicles, but infrastructure to support that, as well as the people's understanding of the importance of a hydrogen-based society, those factors need to be considered. So the hydrogen-based society is something that we, together with the public, will endeavor to establish and build. I don't know what would be the catalyst for that, but we would like to work together with the people so that the world is willing to accept fuel cell vehicles just as a common vehicle. About the CO2 emission, as you pointed out, hydrogen can be manufactured from a variety of primary energy sources. Today, the naphtha or natural gas are used as primary energy sources. And depending upon which primary energy is used, the amount of CO2 emitted during the manufacturing process of hydrogen differs. And as mentioned earlier, as the intrinsic value this represents for the Japanese society, considering the CO2 emitted during the manufacturing, what is the most important for discussion, public discussion to take place as to the best way of manufacturing hydrogen emitting less energy. The natural energy can be used in manufacturing hydrogen. Of course, a great deal may depend upon the volume. But if there is good public discussion as to the best way of manufacturing hydrogen, we would welcome that very much. Given depreciation of the Japanese yen, oil has become more expensive, and we must pay more for the same amount of oil this year than last year because of depreciation of the yen. And the energy policy is another aspect. Depending upon that, we need to use different primary energy sources to produce hydrogen, to store hydrogen. So to give some trigger to that discussion to take place more broadly, we are making this a proposal, so to speak, by introducing fuel cell vehicle to the market.
The lady in the middle, please. Shiraki of Reuters Press. I have two questions. The first point of my question is that overseas, I'd like to confirm when you plan to launch and sell overseas. Domestically in Japan, in June, you said that within 2014 you will launch. But now you think are doing it a bit earlier than original schedule, more expedited launch. But the 2015 summer was the original schedule you announced in the Western countries, in Europe and the USA. Is it still the same schedule? As to the volume plan, the Europe and US and Japan sales figure, target figures were announced. But the launch timing is different. So why you have this timing difference amongst the different markets? Could you please elaborate on those points? Thank you. The sales timing for the other countries, in June press conference, I said that the summer 2015 was mentioned, maybe summer to fall next year, and we still have that same feeling of the timing. That's the rough feeling of the timing for the launch in overseas market. As to the estimated volume, but when the full-scale sales will take place in other countries, maybe 2016 might be the starting year where the more full-fledged sales will take place. So that might really influence the sales volume as well, timing of the sales and the likely volume scenario. I hope you'd understand that.
Yes, person in the middle of this hall. Kyodo News Agency, Maeda is my name. in June, you announced the outline of FCV, and probably you must have received some reaction from the market. You might have received orders or inquiries from customers. How many inquiries have you received, or how many pre-orders, pre-marketing orders have you received that indicates market reaction? If individual customers are willing to buy that, probably the delivery will take about a year or so. Lead time must be pretty long. So if the order is placed today, how long would one have to wait? And despite this delivery time, the production volume is quite limited at this low price. What is the significance of doing this, significance of introducing FCV at this time, now, despite the limited production volume and the price? Now, in Japan, the orders we received thus far is as follows. The dealers received the orders for about 200 units. As of today, orders for 200 vehicles. Earlier, I talked about 400 units as a plan. And so the orders or new purchase of those FCVs, probably the actual delivery will be middle of next year. So customers placing orders now would have to wait that long. So looking at the order intake, we would like to make every effort so that the delivery time can be shortened as much as possible. Furthermore, why introduce FCV now is the second aspect of our question. And Mr. Kato mentioned in his presentation, and it was distilled there, to realize a hydrogen-based society. And toward that, we wanted to take a concrete action. And that was the aspiration which is behind our decision to introduce FCV now. Did I answer your question? You said 200 units. Are those orders from government agencies or individuals? Is there any orders coming directly to Toyota instead going through dealers, government agencies? As you implied in your question, the central governments, local governments, the corporate customers are the primary entities placing those 200 orders. But that's the extent of details I can share with you at this juncture. And that's the number that we now have. The orders we have directly taken is included in that 200. So 200 represents the number for which the customer has decided to purchase FCVs already.
Thank you. Ohama of TV Tokyo. Now you said you're at the starting line, so it might be maybe a precautious question, but 7 million yen sounded rather cheap, frankly speaking. But what about fuel cell vehicle? Would that be economically feasible? How many years it will take that it becomes fully economically feasible business and then profitable? And Toyota, do you intend to be involved in the infrastructure building or hydrogen production or hydrogen station? But because you said you would not join, but what's the reason you are not actively participating in building infrastructure and so on, or hydrogen production per se? Well, economic feasibility or profitability, well, that's not something I can answer. Because more affordable price is something we wish, and we like to work hard to achieve more affordable price. That should improve our profitability as well. So we will always continue to make such efforts. And also, Toyota, not directly involved in the hydrogen infrastructure building or improvement. We are not thinking about doing that directly. Because I think the people have a different line of business, professionals in each area of line of business. We are not a professional energy company or whatever. So, but during the promotion period or introduction period or initial period for a while, maybe infrastructure is not enough at all. So during that time, initial stage. As a Toyota Group, we have some business related to hydrogen in some way. So the stable supply of hydrogen should be secured by collaborating with different the subsidiaries or affiliated companies and others, depending upon the infrastructure development as to the operation of such infrastructure. So maybe we could extend some cooperation and assist in some of the operational aspect.
Thank you. The lady in the row behind. Kubota of Wall Street Journal. I have two questions. Question number one. In leading the Japanese industry overall, from that perspective, and considering industrial policy of Japan, the hydrogen-based society or fuel cell vehicle carries enormous importance. And in that general setting, what sort of role is Toyota going to play as a Japanese company? Could you share your view on that? Secondly, well, could you answer my first question? As I mentioned in my own presentation, rely less on oil is very important. When we consider environmental challenges, there are three major pillars. One is energy conservation. Secondly, the diversification of our fuel sources. And thirdly, the environmentally friendly cars can make a difference only when they are widely and broadly used. And we retain those three major principles or pillars. And from that perspective, in terms of energy conservation, of course, the oil will continue to be the mainstay fuel for automobiles. We will continue to use petroleum or gasoline as a major automotive fuel. So given that, we'll continue to make serious efforts to improve fuel efficiency, that is to say, reduce fuel consumption. And that also is related to our efforts to embrace fuel diversification. The foreign currencies, that is to say, you have to pay money outside of Japan to buy fuel or energy in the case of Japan, which means we must use those energy or oil as efficiently as possible for various industries. And therefore, as an automotive industry, we need to consider fuels, not just oil, gasoline, or other sources for an automotive use. And when we consider hydrogen, which can be produced from a variety of primary energy sources, we must be ready to accommodate or embrace that. And that's why we considered fuel cell vehicles. When that time comes, the FCV will become mainstay automotive vehicle. But just waiting will not be good to make a progress. Simply waiting does not make any advancement, and therefore we have decided to take the first step. So we wanted to be at the leading edge of energy conservation as well as embracing fuel diversification, and that's our reflected in the introduction of SCV. Second question relates to fun to drive. The environmental friendly cars in this form, you said, is also fun to drive. It's exciting at the driver's seats. And it seems that you're aiming at much more than what you have achieved with the Prius in terms of fun to drive. So what's the importance of offering ecological cars, which is also fun to drive, not just friendly to the environment? No, I seem to be monopolizing the answer-giving opportunity. But take, for instance, if the vehicle is just good in terms of high MPGs, because car offers MPGs, but you have to endure other inconveniences. Our president or myself simply cannot be patient with that. Just moving people from point A to point B is not good enough for a vehicle. That mobility, the movement, must also be conducted in an exciting manner and exhilarating manner. And we wanted to offer a vehicle that allows you to do that. So we work hard to offer high MPGs, but also we wanted to offer a ride comfort as well as a free steering at will Those are essential features that vehicles must offer. As we have developed numerous cars thus far, those features were offered through different vehicles, not contained all in vehicles, and therefore we wanted to consolidate all those features in individual vehicles. And that's why we are proposing this environmental friendly cars, which is also fun to drive. So this is the mindset that we kept in developing this FCV.
The gentleman with the brown jacket. Tanabe of Sankei Shimbun newspaper. Earlier you said that Japan's overall competitiveness, which is my question. In the US and Europe, you launched this vehicle, but the name is a Japanese brand name, Mirai. So why did you give the Japanese name to this international vehicle? The second question, compared to Prius development, I think you even started development of this kind of technology before Prius. Why did it take so long before you finally are launching this? Mirai, the Japanese name. Well, we decided to use that name even overseas, as it is. Maybe it's unique to Toyota. It represents something unique. Because should we use an English name, Future? No. For example, according to Toyota production method, the Kaizen, the method, improvement Kaizen became well-known international jargon. So we didn't maybe try to just follow that, but it's a product launched, developed here in Japan. So we should have a pride in the name Mirai and to try to promote the name globally and supply that vehicle globally. So with that strong will, feeling that without changing the name to different languages, we decided to use one brand name, the Mirai. I hope you understand that. The second question will be answered by Mr. Tanaka. Well, as to the second question, well, more than 20 years ago, we've been engaged in the R&D. That's true. So fuel cell technology is maybe different from the conventional mechanical technology development. It's a chemical reaction-based technology. So as an automobile company, it was sort of an unexperienced area which took more time. But in the meantime, in 2002, the small volume was launched in 2008. Japan, US, already 100 vehicles already launched. So we made a step-by-step efforts. But now we are really announcing, because of the infrastructure preparedness, 2015 is related to 2011, when if America and government and really talked about this preparation of the infrastructure by 2015. Same trend in the US and Europe to prepare infrastructure with these deadlines. So to link to those infrastructure plan, we wanted to announce this time.
There may be many more questions, but in the interest of time, we would like to invite only one person to ask questions. The person with spectacles. Wada of Mainichi newspaper. My question is addressed to Mr. Tanaka. Mr. Tanaka. Or could also be answered by Mr. Kato or others. Why? The fuel cell stack, the hydrogen tank. Why have you developed in-house those systems? In your presentation, you said that many OEMs are outsourcing, and this represents the dedicated commitment to manufacturing. Is why you conducted in-house development. That's the first question. And secondly, what's the most difficult challenge you encountered in development? What was the most important breakthrough? The first question, let me answer that question. The hybrid technology itself, when it was first introduced, faced the same situation. That is to say, we are always focused on Kaizen. Continuous improvement is always needed. Otherwise, at the popularization area, the cost or prices can be lowered to the affordable level, but the performance, technological performance can be enhanced, and therefore with respect to hybrid motors and inverters, all those are developed in-house. And because of those experiences we've had with the hybrid development, and since FCV contains so many innovative technology, take a hydrogen tank itself to reduce cost and to enhance performance. And in the case of fuel cell stack, it is the agglomeration of chemical reactions. So how to subject them to improvement, continuous improvement, and how the improvement can be achieved can only be identified by conducting that ourselves. Toyota has been relying on Genchi Genbutsu to do it on their own, and so all the development people, including PE people, worked together to refine this fuel cell vehicle so that we can offer it at the prices we announced today. But this is not the end of this development. There's a long way to go so that we can achieve mass production of this vehicle so that more people can afford FCVs. For us to be able to do that, unless you work yourself, dirt in your hands, you simply can't identify those ways for improvement. Tanaka, let me answer the second question. In the case of FCV, it's the area of chemical reaction. We are good at mechanical area, but we are not experienced in chemical reactions, and therefore the past experiences accumulated over many years have culminated in this product. When it comes to fuel cell system itself, it's just a reverse of electrolysis of water. It's simple. But through this simple reaction, it has to produce 113 kilowatt. It's a huge power. So that, combined with the manufacturing skill, was needed to realize that high power. So the material technology, manufacturing technology, we had to become confident with our own materials and manufacturing technology to be able to resort to volume production of SCV. Thank you very much. The time has come, so we would like to conclude this session with this. Thank you very much.